Hey everyone, I'm Richard, and I'm here today to look at something a little different, the Blackmagic Video Assist. So, what is it? Well, essentially, it's a pro-level, totally portable, battery-driven capture device capable of acquiring HDMI and SDI video at 1080p 60 FPS. Now, Digital Foundry has some history with capture technology. Back in the day, we devised our own PCs capable of doing much the same job as this little box. So, way back in 2005, we worked with specialists in the medical and military imaging sectors on a capture solution for all last-gen consoles. And 2 years later, in 2007, we produced our own 1080p 60 capture PC, unique for its time. In fact, 9 years on, we still use some of that technology today, and some of the relics of our earlier work in this area are found right behind me here. But these days, they're little more than obsolete curiosities from a different era. And that's one of the reasons why we really wanted to check this little box of tricks out. Desktop PCs that we used to make with multi-$1,000 build costs are now effectively replaced by devices like this. Super cheap, handheld, touchscreen-driven, battery-powered boxes capable of excellent quality. Of course, the Video Assist isn't really designed with gaming applications primarily in mind. Really, it's for video professionals looking to up the quality of their work. Pro-level DSLRs and cameras tend to squeeze video into a compromised video format like H.264 when they record. The quality's a downgrade from what the optics are providing, and the video can be difficult to work with from an editing perspective. The Video Assist and devices like it, well, they're different. They take the raw HDMI or SDI feeds direct from the camera, and then they use ProRes to compress the footage. Now, that's a vast improvement in quality terms compared to out-of-the-camera H.264. On top of that, they're also pretty decent monitors too, a big leap up from the tiny screens and minuscule viewfinders you tend to get on many cameras. So, let's take a closer look at the device itself. On the top and the bottom, we have points for attaching the box to a camera or tripod, and there's a kickstand on the bottom too. On one side, we have HDMI and SDI inputs and outputs, and you'll note that you'll need bespoke Blackmagic mini SDI cables to get the job done, but at least it's a standard HDMI socket. On the other side, there's the power button, a 3.5mm stereo jack for headphones, and the power socket. And yes, that's an SD card slot there. The Video Assist records to that medium, which is both a good and a bad thing. On the back, you'll find 2 battery slots. During use, the Video Assist drains one battery, then the next, allowing you to jockey batteries and keep on recording without interruption. But when plugged in, both batteries charge in parallel. Another cool feature is the fact that Canon camera batteries are used here, plentiful in supply and dirt cheap to buy. Now, in the center is a vent, and beneath that is a fan. Yup, the Video Assist is actively cooled, but thankfully very quiet in operation. And here's the native 1080p touchscreen, where you get a live preview of what you're capturing, and where you record and play back footage and adjust settings. There's also focus peaking too, which colors the in-focus parts of the shot with a green highlight. For videographers, it's an excellent tool for making sure that your area of interest is entirely in focus. And another cool feature is the auto orientation. Upside down or not, the Video Assist adjusts to compensate. So let's talk footage quality. Blackmagic reckon that you can record using ProRes or Avid DNxHD formats. Well, ProRes only seems to be available for us so far. 4 variants are available though: Draft, LT, Standard ProRes, and the top-end HQ format. And I've got to say that quality, even on the lower bandwidth LT setting, is pretty decent. And that's a good thing, because ProRes and HQ footage absolutely devours space on your SD card. You'll only get around half an hour of 1080p HQ video on a 128 gig card. Higher capacity SD cards are available, of course, but right now they cost an absolute fortune. And if you are going to push the envelope in quality terms, you're going to need a really fast SD card. Blackmagic itself recommends the SanDisk Extreme Pro SDXC card. It can pull off 90 megabyte a second write speeds, and let's be frank, you're going to need them. That said, drop down to lower ProRes quality levels and lower resolution and refresh rates, and suddenly slower SD cards do become viable. What I liked was the way that the Video Assist informs you on screen if you're dropping frames with a slower card. This ensures that you aren't wasting your time when capturing, and it means you can test your available SD cards on the various quality settings. So, on the face of it, this device is pretty awesome. For videographers, it boosts quality significantly, while gamers can capture pretty much anything using an HDMI output here. as long as there's no HDCP content protection in place. But even that, it's a bit of a non-issue these days owing to the proliferation of cheap splitter boxes that strip out the bothersome encryption. Now, it's worth pointing out that we've concentrated on 1080p 60 here, and the Video Assist supports lower resolutions and refresh rates as well. 720p 60 from last gen systems, no problem at all. So there must be downsides to this product, right? I bought this box myself, half expecting I'd have to return it or hang on to it until problems had been resolved. Previous Blackmagic capture products like Intensity 4K and Intensity Shuttle just didn't work for me when I bought them out of the box at launch, and that usually required multi-month waits for software and firmware updates to make the products usable. Well, take a look at the Blackmagic support forums, and some people do seem to be having problems connecting up some cameras to the Video Assist. But we've tried it with our Canon 7D Mark II and have had no problems whatsoever. PlayStation 4, well, that just works once HDCP has been disabled in the system settings. And that's a big relief, bearing in mind how much of a hassle we had getting consoles to work with Blackmagic's Intensity 4K capture card. It's not all plain sailing though. We have had problems with the HDMI output in the form of corruption in the signal or no signal at all on some displays, and we do wonder whether there is a problem with our particular box here. But the best thing about this device is the price. The Blackmagic Video Assist costs just £350 or $500 in the US, and that's not bad for an entirely self-contained recording unit. The only thing like it for videographers is something like the Atomos Shogun. That is much more expensive, but to be fair, it's got a larger screen and it writes to SSD for additional cheaper storage, and it supports 4K capture up to 30 FPS. During our testing of the Shogun, we even discovered that it contains HDCP decryption built in too, for some reason. It's a much better product overall, but it does cost over 4 times more. Now, for gamers, there's a multitude of capture options out there. Probably the most popular is the Elgato Hd60 at £120 or $180. And it's a really good choice, but footage uses the H.264 codec, and suffice to say that the quality is nowhere near as good as ProRes. Not only that, but you'll also need a decently spec'd PC or Mac to run the Elgato. So, the Video Assist, it's obviously the more expensive product, but perhaps it's cheaper overall, bearing in mind that it's a standalone device. Overall then, Blackmagic's latest is a really neat little device. It's not quite up to spec for the sort of work we do. We tend to use entirely lossless video for performance analysis purposes. But for everyone else, it's a really good product, well worth taking a look at. For videographers, I'd just make sure you do your research and ensure that there are no compatibility problems with your cameras. And to make sure, I would suggest checking out the Blackmagic support forums. That's a good place to start. Anyway, that's all we have for now. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Do give us a like if you enjoyed what you saw, and of course subscribe to Digital Foundry if you want to support the work that we do. But that's all we have for now. Thanks for watching.